amount of people on Twitter I saw talking about this game, I mean, the ratings for this Pelicans-Mavs game had to be bare minimum 24 to 27 million viewers. 24 to 27 million viewers. It would have to be my guess. And that's not even accounting for illegal streams. Salute, Philip. Salute. Maybe one of the most anticipated games of all time. So let's just start here with the court. You see it here? I was in person, right? A few rows up. About over here-ish. 4th, 5th, 6th row behind the basket. I think the blue court looked really clean, actually. I didn't know what I was going to feel about it. I thought it looked really good in person, and then going back and watching some of this game, I thought it looked really good. I really think that it looked really good. There's just something about the blue. Now, I will say, I don't like the color combination of the jerseys. I don't like that the Mavericks went with their navy blue jerseys with these. Why not go with the white? I don't understand why not go with your alternate jerseys with these, but all right, whatever. That's neither here nor there. The Mavericks win the game by 41 points, which, by the way, is probably going to have some implications down the line, assuming the Mavericks, if the Mavericks were to win out in the cup play, which they have to play the Nuggets and the Grizzlies still. If they were to win those two games, they have a pretty decent chance. They have a pretty decent chance of moving on in the NBA Cup because they currently have the highest point differential in the Cup. And point differential will matter. Yes. I think it's pretty hard to win your group with a loss. So they'd have to be a wild card team. But I want them to make it. I do. I think it'd be fun. But let's talk about this game. Let's just start here. Let's just get this out the way. This Pelicans team, I actually genuinely feel really bad for Pelicans fans. What do you even say about something like this? This is not an NBA team. I mean, it's not. I went to the game last night. Doesn't it look lighter in person? The court, yes, it does. But look at the starting five here. Brandon Ingram, who the Mavs were double teaming him. I mean, he could not get his shit off to save his life. And it really wasn't his fault. Yves Missy's in the starting five. He had a nice block. I don't think he really did much of anything in this game. Trey Murphy had a couple of nice shots, but again, he's somebody who kind of needs stuff created for him and is just a better player when, there's other guys around him and he can space the floor. Brandon Boston Jr. is getting 30 minutes. Javonte Green, 30 minutes. Jalen Noel, 21 minutes. And I have to say this, and I mean this nicely as possible. I never thought Jalen Noel was that great of an NBA player. Great basketball player, very talented offensive player, but not great of a basketball player. And this was 4 or 5 fucking years ago. Okay? He was awful last night. I can't believe it. I can't believe he's getting real rotation minutes in the NBA in 2024. They picked up Elfrid Payton today. The Pelicans picked up Elfrid Payton today. Oh my God. It's just tough. I really don't know what you would say to a Pelicans fan right now, other than my bad. If you're a Pelicans fan, honestly, what's the point of watching? What is the point of watching at this point in time? Anyways. The Dallas Mavericks get a 41-point win, a nice little get-right game. I thought Luca looked really, really good in this game physically. It says 30 minutes here, but he did play under 30 minutes. It was 29 minutes, 30 seconds. So that's good that he was able to get out there, get a win. We've talked about Luca this season, obviously. It hasn't looked physically right. It could be because of an injury, which is definitely possible. Could be because he's just, didn't play in the preseason, so he's not really in game shape just yet. Could be a mixture of things. He did get the game off against the Thunder a couple nights ago, and I thought this was some of the best. So Hoops taking shots at you again about Luka's defense after the game. He's tweeted about me every day for the last week. It's getting kind of weird and pathetic, but it is what it is. What did I say about Luka's defense after the game? Anyways, I don't care really. But I thought Luka played really well, honestly. If Luka gives effort on defense, his team is unstoppable. Well, this is a matchup the Mavericks defensively, you look, their defensive rating's incredible this season, and it kind of like, it doesn't feel like it because they've had games where their defense has been awful. Part of that has been Derek Lively's missed time. PJ Washington has missed time, and those are probably your two most important defenders on the entire team. So when those two guys were out together, that really hurt you. But when they play a team like this, a team like the Pelicans, who are very isolated heavy, you know, obviously they don't have a lot of offensive talent to begin with, so you're supposed to dominate in a game like this. But they run a lot of ISO. They don't really space the floor. They don't play a 5-out offense. This Mavs defense is going to look great in those games. They're going to look so good in games like this, where they can kind of park a big in the middle of the paint. You don't have to worry about too many off-ball actions. And, you know, the Mavs can just kind of take care of business. Because that is, like, the thing about Luca. Luca is a good, solid ISO defender and genuinely maybe a great post defender. Okay, that's his size. That's his length. That's his basketball IQ. And he had a couple of steals last night. 3 steals and a block. It felt like more than that, honestly. And a couple deflections playing the passing lanes. So, yeah, there are matchups like this where the Mavs defense is just going to look incredible. Because if you look at their like game log, the defensive rating, they had a 122 defensive rating against the Thunder. Why? The Thunder, especially when they're small, space the floor, and that makes life difficult on this Mavericks team, who again likes to park a big in the paint. So if Lively or Gafford are out on the perimeter having to defend, well, you know what that means. Also, Luca didn't play in that game. 122 defensive rating. Luca plays in this game at a 91 defensive rating. 97 defensive rating against the Spurs team. Same thing. No Wemby. But then a stretch of really bad defensive games. Phoenix just terrible rebounding in that game against the Suns. Denver, a 125 defensive rating. PJ didn't play in that game. Golden State Warriors, 116 defensive rating. Horrible on the glass. Utah, 121 defensive rating. Really embarrassing game. Horrible on the glass. The Mavs are 6th in defensive rating, 7th in offensive rating, and 6th in net rating, and are 8-7. Yeah, they're going to figure some stuff out. They are for sure going to figure some stuff out. I will say, you look at their defensive rating, they haven't like played great defense yet against a good team. Like they're just look at this game log. They're just beating up on horrible teams. But that's, hey, you gotta pad the stats. You have to pad the stats. Timberwolves, I mean, they had a 117 defensive rating in that game. That's not very good. This early season Timberwolves team's not a great team anyways. Mavs used to lose the bad team. Well, they did lose to the Jazz, but yes, you are right though. But anyways, Klay Thompson looked really good in this game as well, knocking down threes, 5 of 9 from deep. You know, when he's hitting threes, this offense is just going to be so hard to stop. And Luka getting downhill, you know, had a couple of kickouts. He led to we got a Luka lob in this game. We had another almost Luka lob that should have been a lob where he threw it up to Jaden Hardy and Jaden Hardy missed it. Luka had a couple of kickouts to the corner. You know, those are all the stuff that are staples of this offense. Connor, 11 months. Glad I'm finally available for one of these. Welcome in, Connor. We're happy to have you. Obviously, you do have to preface it by saying this is a really shitty Pelicans team, right? But they took care of business. And Kyrie, 18 points, 7 assists, 6 of 11 from the field. Hit a couple, 4 of 5 from 3, man. He's up to, 56% from 3 so far this season? I really want him to make an all-star game. I tweeted that out last night, and I had a bunch of, I'm assuming, like, Kyrie fans. And the replies were like, well, this is a lock. It isn't a lock. I'm telling you right now, it's not a lock. I think there's still, like, a notion about Kyrie Irving that's going to be hard for him to shake. But also, it is a loaded conference with a lot of guards. Mavs haven't had a disaster game against a good team yet, maybe except Rockets. I mean, their only like disaster game this season has been that Jazz game. But this is what we've been saying. Even in their losses, they've been competitive. But Quentin Grimes was also really good last night. And he's been really solid for you. And you just see the souped up version. This is why I didn't really compare. I like the comparisons to Josh Green. I just don't really see they're going to play like similar roles on the Mavericks, but they're not similar players to me. Quentin Grimes just is capable of doing much more with the ball in his hands. He's quicker. He gets over screens much better than Josh Green. I mean, that's not even up for fucking debate. And I would say Josh Green's probably, even though Quentin Grimes did have a nice pass in a pick and roll in this game, I think Josh Green's a bit of a better playmaker. I just think they play a little different games. I really like Grimes. He's more of a prototypical 3-and-D. Yeah, Josh Green's like a transition player and stuff like that. But I really like what Grimes has given the Mavericks so far this season. Jason Tatum's the MVP. I mean, Jokic is going to run away with the MVP. Going to run away with it. Grimes has better handles. Yes, I would agree with that as well. There's more self-creation upside with Grimes than there is with Josh Green by a comfortable margin. Aren't the Mavs like 2 score stops from winning each of their losses? Yes, they lost 4 straight games by a singular possession. 4 straight. So anyways, did I miss anybody? Did I miss anyone? Did I miss talking good about anybody? Najee Marshall's floater is hilarious. It was really funny watching it. It's funny watching on the broadcast, but sitting baseline behind the basket, seeing like the angles in which he gets these shots off, it does not make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense how he's so consistent with these shots. They look very difficult to make, but he just makes it happen. Very minor. I like to see it. Omex had a nasty dunk at the end. Yeah, Omex did have a nasty dunk. Jaden Hardy attacking the rim. Luka should steal back the MVP from Jokic to make it even. There's still a lot of season left to play. Luka's got a run in him. Luka's got a run in him. I know it.